ahead and take this picture with these people in the background, and I want to get rid of these two people, this looky-loo back here, or like this person photobombing, and this guy who isn't even looking at the page, so that I keep all the people who are actually staring at the camera on here. So I'm going to get rid of her, and I'm going to get rid of him. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and open this picture up, duplicate the background. I'm going to definitely use the masking tool on this, and I'm going to use the clone, or you could be using the healing brush or something else on top of that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All I need to do is I need to mask this woman's face, her lapel, all the way around to this person's face. I could care less whether I ever mask him one bit because I'm only going to be doing cloning underneath here. So I'm going to go use the quick selection tool, and I'm going to try to draw this around her face and her coat, and this woman's lapel, and this hair, and of course I can tell what already happened here. Oops, it grabbed this girl back in here too. So I'm going to hit the Q command and go back, and I'm going to hold the Option button down, which should change the quick selection tool to the minus thing. And I'm going to try to rub straight down her face and see if I'm re-reminding the image what I'm trying to do, if that does a better job. Hit the Q. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and just see how good my mask is. I think for the most part, everything is in good shape, except this woman's ears. So I'm going to try, I think I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to use in the quick mask mode, I'm going to have black paint. I'm going to have a brush, and I am just going to paint the mask for her ear by hand. And I can tell that it didn't get all of her hair right here, so I'm just darkening that a little bit. Oh, and then I also can tell that I picked up a little bit of this girl's hair as part of the red mask. So I'm going to flip this to be white paint, and I'm going to get that mask off of her hair. Gotta smooth that out. Q, I'm going to go back to the quick selection tool. I'm going to click the select the mask. Cancel. I'm going to try to click this again. Let's see if I can just pull the smooth over a little bit and click OK to see how well that does. Okay, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and put the layer mask on this. Now all that's done is it's put a copy of this woman's face, part of her clothing, and this woman's face on a new layer on top. I'm going to go back and I'm going to reduplicate the background, and I'm going to turn the original background off. I'm going to do all my cloning now on this kind of middle layer with these people up here protected. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go make my brush be a lot bigger. And I'm going to try to carefully Option click here and move straight down and get rid of her. Back up in here. Try that again. I'm going to go click on this blue line and I'm going to pull it down a little bit. Get back up into here. I'm going to try to paint some more in here. Until I leave a little bit of this blue line back in here until ultimately I've gotten rid of that girl. Now, as I can see this, you can definitely tell that the mask wasn't perfect along in here, and I've kind of got this fringe. So I'm going to go back up onto my mask, my top layer, not the picture, with the white little reflections around it. I want to click on the mask. Now I have the little white frame on it. And now, when I've got the I don't want the color to be black, I want the color to be white. I need to tighten this mask slightly. And I think I need to do this with the hardness at maybe somewhere around 75. And now, with a fairly small brush of white paint, I'm going to come in here, white paint. Don't want to do that. I want to switch back over to the black paint. And I'm going to carefully try to cut out some of this line along here. At some point I probably wouldn't mind having a little bit of a ridge. That'll help the woman in the white, this pale coat, stand out from the background a little bit more. But I find it distracting that it's so big in here. Getting rid of most of that. And maybe I want to do the same thing along this woman's cheek just a little bit. So she doesn't have that hard line right up there. And a little bit on this part of the collar. And then somehow something happened in here, so I'm going to switch back over to white paint. And I'm going to try to paint right back here and rebuild this part of the coat back up. And I'm going to say that's a win for that one. I'm going to slide over, and now we're going to get rid of this guy. So what I want to do here is the same type of thing, except I'm going to temporarily turn the top layer off. I'll just call this one Fixed Girl. And now I'm going to go back to the background copy, and I am going to try to make a selection around this guy's hair and along his coat. And on over in here to this guy. And once again, I can see what's happening. I hit the quick mask mode is it didn't want to separate this guy again, so I'm going to hit Q, hold down the little bitty option button so that my quick selection tool has a minus instead of the normal plus sign on it. I'm going to drag back across his hair, pull down over in here. And that's better, but I'm going to go back with this symbol here, and it's just not wanting to get that one area. So I am going to hit Q to get to the quick mask. With white paint, I'm going to undo this part of the mask way up here. I'm going to also try to paint out where his shadow is, this little part of his neck right here. Brush really small to get into this corner. I'm going to go back, and with black paint, I'm just going to make this mask be a little bit bigger down in here. So this one's going to be a little harder to do than the other one. I'm going to change the brush to be fuzzier, like 30 or 40, to paint on this guy's hair that's right in here, because it's a little bit softer. And then I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to zoom in. I can tell that part of his ear isn't included in this. Okay, I hit Q. Once again, I'm going to duplicate this layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on this top one, I'm going to click the mask. So this background copy too is the thing I'm still going to mess up. This background copy, I'm going to call it Fixed or really Deleted Guy. I'll turn the eyeball off on the girl for right now. I'm going to come back to background copy 2, zoom down, and I'm going to do the same type of thing. I'm using the clone tool and getting it a lot larger. I'm going to try to start with this blue line here, and I'm going to option click here, and I'm going to try as best as possible to kind of draw it down in a straight line. Go ahead and resample. Again, draw it down in a straight line. And then I'm going to come up in here where this pale area is. And continue to work on trying to move down in my kind of stripy patterns. Other thing I could do while I'm down here is I could try to go see what the patch tool would look like. Oops, that is right here. So I could try to draw an area in here. Nope, that's not necessarily doing what I want, so I'm going to hit Opposite and undo. I'm still going to go back to my cloning tool. Option click up here. Let's get rid of that guy that's there. If I wanted to, I could use the spot healing brush tool and make it pretty big. If I just did this in here. Sometimes that might help smooth part of that out a little bit like that. And then the only thing that I'm afraid of is that my mask wasn't all that good, so I'm going to go back. And if I went back to the deleted guy, I could probably rub along the shoulder here and clean up some of this trash. A little bit bigger brush. I was just careful. Some of those flecks of color that just didn't seem to work out all that well. We'll take this into his hair just a little bit. Get a little of this fringe along this part of his ear. And then I'm going to come back over here to the picture. And we can say that maybe that would look pretty good. Or something to that effect. Now I need to turn back on the fixed girl. So now that I've got both of these set up like this, I could go ahead and save this as a layered Photoshop file so that I'm keeping everything in its place. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then just so that you can get used to seeing this too, if I wanted to keep the background separate, I could leave this as if, and if I was really happy with what this looked like, I could come on this and pull down and tell it to merge visible, which now basically means I've got the original and I've got my fixed version, and I've just got those two versions rather than keeping all the other things, and I can resave this with the new name. So that's how we would get rid of this thing.